At the Wall of Answered Prayer, we are passionate about raising up a nation of storytellers, people who remember what God has done for them and tell the world. Every answered prayer tells us a little bit about God. It reveals a glimpse of his DNA. There is something divinely unique about what God has done for you, and other people need to hear it. Revelation 19 verse 10 tells us that the testimony of Jesus is the spirit of prophecy. We believe that when we tell a story of answered prayer, we are actually declaring that God can do it again. We tell the story so that our answered prayers are not hidden away or forgotten, and so that other people can encounter the God who answers, just as we have. So will you share your story with us? If one story told in one moment of time can transform a life, imagine what 1 million answered prayers built into the heart of our nation for centuries can do. Every week, we get stories that are mind-blowing testimonies of the power and the goodness of God. Sometimes these stories are more miraculous.
A ball of fire came up out of the carburetor, and it ignited the can of gas in my dad's hands, and it blew up all over my father. When they came in to remove his bandages, as they untook bandages from my dad's face and upper body, all the dead, burnt skin from that disaster and that horrible fire was in those bandages. And underneath those bandages, my dad had a brand new face.
Sometimes the answer is to a small prayer whispered in private.
I said, Father, you know that I could really do with a car, but I haven't got any money. The church hasn't got any money, but I will just leave that request before you. And didn't say anything to anybody. And I will never forget that answer to prayer because it was so specific. It was so secret between me and God.
And sometimes it's healing in the darkest places.
And one by one, she was speaking to depression and she was speaking to anorexia and telling them, in the name of Jesus, I command you to go, you have to go now. And all I can tell you is that I had such a massive experience. I had a moment that I will never forget, where I physically remember the sensation, and the very next day, anorexia had left completely.
And sometimes the answer to our prayer is no.
And we continue to pray, and church continue to pray for healing, and that the baby to overcome the odds and be okay.
But in it all, he has opened our eyes to know that his love and comfort and faithfulness is sufficient, even when it seems he's answered our prayers with a no rather than a yes.
It doesn't matter if your prayer seems too unimportant or too good to be true. If the creator of the universe has stepped in and answered a prayer simply because you asked, then your story is worth telling. So, what are you waiting for? Tell us your story today.